centuries, the wind has whistled through these trees, and birds have lifted their song from their branches. But today we speak, and we are heard. Today we speak, and those even beyond earshot from this dais are able in every television tuned to Channel 56 to share with us. To go see.
Congratulate the treasure chest today. This is a big momentous day for our treasure chest ladies. It's the grand opening of the first treasure chest store here at Green Spring Village, and the ladies have done a tremendous job in setting up the store, and we're just really excited about it. So make lots of money today, ladies.
Well, of course, many of us weren't here during all that construction. Uh-oh, dropped my mic. Am I still on? Anybody?
Yeah, you're okay.
Okay. Anyway, but we do have here, sitting in our presence today, a staff member, Sheila Willing, who was here when this place opened 18 years ago, and Jean Bly, who is a resident. Jean, are you the only resident that's been here since it opened? Do you know?
Well, there are about, we're called pioneers, and there are about 14 of us that are still here that came in '98.
Okay, okay.
I'm the only one that came in November of '98 that's still here.
Yeah. All right, so that was the month, well, it was today, 18 years ago.
Right.
So, did I tell you it's November 17, 2016? I think I forgot to tell you that, audience. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here with both of you to celebrate. It just seems impossible, doesn't it?
It does. We were just saying it didn't seem like 18 years ago. So
when we were watching the film, Jean said they moved around a lot of dirt.
we remember those days.
Those days,
they used to blast it so you could hear booms and
Now,
blasting.
where were you located then when it opened?
When I originally got here, we had the trailer on the main road.
Okay.
And then Town Center was just getting ready to open then.
So your office was first in Town Center.
First in Town Center. Well, first in the trailer for about a month, and then we moved everything to Town Center in December of 1998.
Okay.
And then we moved to Village Square when this side of the community opened. Then we moved to Hunter's Crossing, and now we're back in Village Square.
Yeah, this is kind of the central part of the campus, actually, because the other two neighborhoods feed into this.
Exactly.
So, how's it feel to look back on when it was a bare
Do
bones?
we feel older now, or do?
I don't know. I've been so fortunate, and I feel so good.
She does. She looks great. Yeah. It doesn't
Well,
feel
I
like
think
18
this
years.
place keeps us feeling good. I really do. I think it's one of the biggest selling points. I've been here 14, January 1, it'll be 14 years. I moved in on December 31st, but I woke up on my birthday, January 1st, and I was here.
All right. Good way to
That's
celebrate.
a good way to remember.
Yeah, so I mean, I actually moved in, but I didn't tell the state of Virginia I slept here that night, because the taxes would have been too much with one state and another, you know.
Exactly.
But anyhow, yeah, so I've been here 14 years and seen lots of changes.
Can you imagine?
I guess when I came, Hunter's Crossing was not in Canterbury Square. I live in Maple Creek, so Maple Creek's the first building of that third neighborhood. And so when I moved in, there was no Canterbury Square, Hunter's Crossing, none of that.
they were
Piles of dirt.
Piles, lots of
exactly.
dirt. It's neat to see the landscaping now, because you see all the dirt there. It was hard. We were going, what building is that? Because we couldn't tell with no landscaping around. So it is. This community is. The community's done a wonderful job landscaping this.
Beautiful. And I'm so glad they didn't level the place.
Yes.
And that all the rooftops are the same, you know, elevation. I just think it's great having that topography kept. I think that's the word.
Well, we get a lot of comments about the community, how it seems to fit Virginia, the rolling hills. It's not all flat, a lot of foliage. And so we get a lot of comments from folks about how beautiful our property is.
Right. Now, Jean, you live down there near Treasure, in that building.
Treasure chest is near me.
That's right.
That's right.
She was
you were
there
first.
first.
But you know, obviously, you moved into the first building, right?
Oh, yes.
That's Parkview,
That's
right?
Parkview.
And so that's the very first building. And wow.
And some of the floors weren't even opened yet. We only got the go-ahead to open, I think, ground terrace first, and two of the other floors weren't even, the inspections weren't all the way done yet. So we still had to wear hard hats, and we were trying to move people in because folks had sold their home and they needed to move in, and so.
And where were you eating then?
Oh, in the dining room. It was
in the
full.
cafe.
It was full.
In the cafe or the dining room?
No, in the main dining room.
In the main dining room at Town Center.
Yes,
Okay.
it was open, and servers and
Was the cafe
tables.
open also?
Yes.
Yes.
It was open.
That was a multi-purpose room for
They used the cafe for everything.
Yeah,
for
I remember.
the theater, for
Yeah.
church.
Didn't we have our talent show? I think we had a talent show there in the
yes.
Yeah,
beginning.
there used to be a grand piano in there.
Memorial services,
Yeah.
everything
was in
Right.
the cafe.
Cafe was
And then
everything.
when the theater got built, a lot of that was moved into the theater.
Mm-hmm,
Because I remember with the first play we did with the Green Spring Players, they were holding Catholic Mass down there, and they had a mobile altar, and it had to stay in place. Frank Richardson, who probably has been here as long as,
Yes.
or close to as
He's
long
in
as you
Parkview,
have.
too.
Frank was in charge of that, and you know, so they were using the theater for the multi-purpose, and they still do in many ways. Still use the theater in that way.
Yeah, we had to use our space wisely because we didn't have a lot of it. I remember they used to ask us to go to happy hour because no one was at happy hour in the cafe, so they would have all the employees go up there. Though we didn't drink, but we were there because we were trying to promote folks to come to happy hour.
One of the first things I did I had a friend who moved in the week it opened, and she would invite me down for dinner. I lived up in Crystal City at that point, and so she would invite me down for dinner, but happy hour first in the cafe. And they
Always.
had sofas around the fireplace.
Yep.
And I remember that very
It's nice.
clearly.
I think that was the first group that started, was the happy hour.
Happy hour.
I'm sure.
Here at Green
And then
Springs,
I went on a trip with them to Ireland before I moved. Well, I had
remember
moved
that.
in by the time, but I signed up for it before I moved in.
I remember that. That was one of the first.
And that was Kai
Gilbride.
Miss
Gilbride and Joan Matheson. Now, Joan is still here.
She's still here, yeah.
But they
Gosh, I
they were
remember.
running the trips then.
Yeah, the residents ran a lot of those.
Yeah.
We didn't have Robin to coordinate
No.
the trips and things, so
Yeah, well,
we had
this
to improvise.
was a traveling group. Now, when you were first in town center, where was your office located?
We're finances.
Oh, okay.
We bordered with human resources. We connected together there. The
All right.
office looks nothing like it does now.
No.
So,
Well, this place is in constant flux, I'm telling you. Every
Change.
time you turn around, some wall's being put up or taken down, and, so-and-so's moving into there, and,
Exactly.
I think catering's been in half a dozen places since I've been here.
yeah. When I applied for the position, I actually went to a satellite office on Franconia Road, and Janelle Adams was there. And I had my son in a baby carrier, and now he's a freshman in college, so that tells you how long I've been here. But I had to go there because they didn't have the human resources here on campus then, so
Right.
lots changed.
Right.
And I signed up over in the mall.
Remember the kiosk they had in the mall by Victoria's Secret?
I think that's where my friend Edith Foley signed up first there.
That's where they. It
And
was
she-
Lonnie Blessing, Carla Hibbs, and Dana Bradshaw were in the mall and were signing up folks. In like 1997, I think that was. So.
Yeah, I was still employed then, but then I moved into Maryland and then came back into Virginia. But I had my name on the list, but I
Yeah.
hadn't, it was like, whenever.
Yeah, a lot of people do that, unfortunately.
Well, I think being at a few of the events that marketing has, if I talk to any potential residents, and they say, "Oh, we're not ready to come." Yes, you are. If you're here, you're ready to come.
I always tell people when you're not ready, that's actually probably the best time.
Really?
Because unfortunately, if you're ready, it's
That means
because
you're-
of a trigger or a health issue. So
Right.
move while you're not ready.
That's right.
It's less stressful.
That's where my husband was smart. He wanted to be settled when he was 75. He didn't know he'd be in Arlington, but he had looked into Erickson and retirement and had his finances and had started to, in fact, he dropped dead emptying the dishwasher, packing our crystal.
Oh, no.
And the next week we had an appointment up at Charleston to pick out our exact apartment.
Charlestown,
Yeah.
the community in
The
Catonsville?
commu- yeah.
Our flagship.
So I didn't do anything, of course. Every book said don't do anything right away, and that's easy for me. I'm a procrastinator.
I think we all are, right?
You could have written the book, right?
Yes, yes. So I stayed where I was, and I bonded with my grandchildren. I took them to the pediatrician, the barber shop, and a lot of their activities. And then finally, the oldest one got a driver's license, and I really
Hallelujah.
wasn't needed so much.
That's right.
And this opened up. And I had gone with a friend to some of the other places around, and it just, I knew that he had looked into Erickson, and it was safe and secure. So
Good.
when I signed up, she said, "What apartment do you want? You've been on the list for about 9 years." Because
have
we
your
had been
pick.
on the list for Charleston before.
Was it with Susan DiDomenico? Do you remember Susan? She was
Yeah,
the first
Susan
sales
was there
counselor.
when I signed up too.
Yeah.
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 And I said, I want a patio and not on the parking lot. And I had the most beautiful apartment in Green Spring. It looks over the courtyard.
Yeah, I love that view.
And the
out
pool,
there. Yeah.
and,
Very nice.
and all the trees and the flowers, and it's a little bit protected. Just
know, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, Parkview was a good building. That
Yes.
building sold pretty quickly. I remember that. I think we had, if I'm not mistaken, like 50 move-ins in December. It was a large amount, because I remember Dana
Wow, you must
Bradshaw.
have been working a lot.
She was the moving coordinator, and she
Yeah.
was going, you know. And then with new construction, as we know, there's always little things that go wrong. Or Mrs. Bly knows that. Her apartment unfortunately flooded before she moved in,
Oh,
so
no.
that was...
You mean we had floods way back then?
Way back
Yeah,
then.
and those were
But
construction related.
none since then.
Well,
so
that's
Good,
That's
good.
terrific.
I'm on the bottom floor, and yet I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, don't jinx it.
Bite your tongue.
haven't been flooded.
Yeah. Well, I'm on the top floor, and I haven't been flooded
Very
either.
nice.
But
Very nice.
yeah, I too feel like. I mean, I was in a studio when I first moved in, and then keeping my eye on the apartment across the hall. And I was here almost 3 years when that apartment became available. And I think, Sheila, you even called me. I was out of town. I was like in New York
Yeah.
visiting my daughter or something. And I got the call that the apartment was available. Did I still want it? I said, absolutely.
She took it over the phone.
And I loved it because it looks out over the forest. It has a balcony. You know, it's lovely.
Yeah, you were in the Abbott studio when you first moved in.
I was, yeah. What is the name of my apartment now? They call it an extra.
I think you're on Alcott.
Oh, okay, okay, because I can never remember the names of these apartments, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's titled Extra Large One Bedroom with a Balcony. It's the description of it, but I could never remember the name of it.
Exactly.
I must say, this past summer, I didn't use that balcony much. It was so hot.
Yes, yeah. And a lot of folks moving in always say, I want a balcony, I want a patio. And then I'll say to them, well, how often do you sit on your patio? Oh, I never sit on my patio. They'll tell me. So why are you going to wait 5 years for a patio if you're really not?
Yeah.
But most people do want it.
I lived on mine until this last year, so when I got older, I don't go out as much.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I would put a winter coat on. It was so pretty in the fall.
Yeah.
I just really,
I like
really,
that too. I mean, it's so much fun looking out on the trees.
It's a whole nother room.
Yeah. I really wish that, I don't know, if I ever got really rich, I guess I would ask if I would love to have it Florida roomed put in on my balcony, just so I could use it in the cooler weather, you know, and have screens for, you know.
Yeah.
I was out at Ashby Pond a few weeks ago, and their balconies and patios and they're screened in. And boy, they are like another room, and they have really tall ceilings.
Yeah, they're a little bit different construction too, so they're not the same construction as us.
It's not
so
the
they
same,
can be,
no.
Yeah.
But it was really impressive to see that.
It is nice. It's a little far out, but it is nice.
Yeah, but you know, I like here. I mean, this is so much more centrally
It's just more
located.
centrally located, yeah. That's the biggest comment I get from folks. Ashby's nice, it's new. New is always nice.
New
I
is
remember when
nice.
we were here in the beginning, when a new building would open, people would say, I want to move to that new building. I want to move, you know, because it was new. So
Yeah.
new is always nice, but you can't move location, you know, so that's one thing that Green Spring has.
Well, and I still think this is an ideal spot. It's close enough to DC. I mean, look at all the opportunities that we have living here, and with the staff providing travel for us, and you know, both in transportation and in the trips, and the metro being so close, and all of those things are much more accessible than Ashby Pond.
It is. It
There's
is.
no
We're just-
metro near Ashby
No.
Pond. you know.
Supposedly there's going to be one, but when is that going to happen? And
Yeah.
I think a lot of folks say this is kind of like an oasis in the middle of this kind of building metropolitan area here. It is kind of nice to come back here in our nice little cocoon here in Green Spring. So
yeah. So you're still working out of sales, or
yes,
out of?
I've been in the same office since I started.
Is that department called sales? No, it's
yes,
called something else.
It's the sales office. Yeah,
It is.
They used to call it marketing, but marketing's done through our corporate partners.
I see. So sales is okay. Gotcha. So let me just ask you while you're here, how are we standing? I mean, how many vacancies do we have?
Well, I don't know. I think the last I looked this morning. I think we have 15 available apartments, and they're all one bedrooms and studios. So we don't have any 2 bedrooms. We have no 1 bedroom and dens. So the wait list is getting a little.
They
a little anxious.
They really miss out not going to a 1-bedroom because you have your card room. It's so nice after dinner.
Yeah.
You don't have to get out your linen and your snacks.
Yeah.
and everything, you just all go into the cargo.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
It's hard for folks that don't live here to see that side of Green Springs. So we have a lot of great programs that we're hoping folks will take advantage of, where they come stay a couple nights with us, kind of get a feel.
Yeah, I noticed you've
because
been
this is
doing that.
different.
Yeah.
It's different than living in your home. You know, the whole
Yeah.
community becomes your home. So, but I think a lot of folks that are in their homes, they kind of forget that you have the dining room, you have the convenience store, you have the chapel, you have
Yeah.
so many outside craft rooms and rooms to use that you don't have in your home.
No.
So, and it keeps your space just for you and keep
And
it
the
clean
fact
and
is,
neat.
if you're a single person, you have a 2-bedroom apartment, all you do is fill it up anyway. Although I would love to have a space for my quilting, but anyway, I make
Yep.
do. I
Yep.
make do.
But we fill anything that we have. I have a 5,000 square foot house, and I use probably 1 inch of it. I mean, I don't use it all. It's all full of junk. So
Well, boy, when you start to downsize,
it's gonna be easy. Boom! All that stuff that I have downstairs that I haven't touched in 10 years is gone.
I think one of the revelations here, at least I found, is my children not being interested in anything I had. I mean,
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It was like, yes, photos and things like that of
Mementos.
family, but silverware. You know, they want to be able to put things in a dishwasher. They don't want sterling.
Or a microwave. They want
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
I work a lot with treasure chests,
I know
and like
you-
you say, it's so sad when they bring down basket after basket after
Beautiful.
basket of stuff that they've taken all they want. And
Sure.
of course, as you say, no one wants silver, no one wants linens, no one wants.
Of course, if they were
crystal.
smart, they'd take the silver and sell it because
It's
you
so-
get a really good
Get a
price
little
for
bit of
silver.
money.
So much an ounce, but not this beautiful
Yeah.
Yeah.
memories that we have of the silver.
Yeah, well, it's a whole different thing. I
It's a
mean,
whole different generation now.
it is. And they want, you know,
So I tell people that are here, start downsizing even though you're here. Look at that top shelf in your kitchen. You
Yeah.
haven't used anything in 10 years. Bring it to Treasure
I
Chest
just-
now.
She didn't have the option of the personal move consultant like we have now, too.
No, and I
we
didn't
have
either.
that
I didn't
service.
either.
We didn't have Anna Greaves then, so that's a whole other.
well, and I recently had the 10-year renovation or whatever you call it.
The refresh.
Of course, it took me 12 years to do it. But anyway, but I'm telling you, the things I took to Treasure Chest, I mean, I couldn't believe I had collected all this stuff. And like you say,
Over 14 years you collected.
the top shelves in the kitchen, I can't even reach anyway. And so I had my son take all that stuff down. Let me look at that. Let me see what this stuff is.
So no matter how much space we have, we still have too much
We
stuff
fill it up,
sometimes.
don't
Yep,
we?
We sure will.
Yeah.
We sure will. But we're doing very well in the sales office, and it's wonderful to be here 18 years. I hope to be 18 more. I don't know if I can, but I've loved every second of being here.
And
at
what's the
Green
best
Spring.
part of living here?
Oh my
I mean,
gosh,
of working here.
The residents. I mean, just the relationships I've built. I was just talking to a couple residents in the lobby before talking about my son's experience at Texas A&M, and they went to Texas, and so it's just these relationships
It's
that we built.
definitely a family environment.
It is, definitely.
And I do think that Mr. Erickson, that John Erickson, I really admired his vision,
His vision.
and
did.
and it was the right thing.
It was.
I'm sorry he had difficulties, but I think that he just did us all a favor
He did. He did, definitely.
with
Brilliant man.
this type of. And when I told my children I was moving into a retirement community, my son's first reaction was, "Mom, you don't
Going to
belong in a
an old
nursing
folks'
home."
home.
You know, and it's like, no, you don't understand. Wait till you come and visit, then you'll know.
He changed the concept of what we think of retirement living.
Absolutely. It was, and I liked, at that time, we used to call it a campus. And it was campus living. It was so much to do.
It's
It was
such a
every
community.
minute was taken up with stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Carly got us going on things to do. I belong to the symphony subscriber series.
Yes.
And the little theater, and I said to Carla, if anybody wants to go, I'm driving. She said, put a notice on the bulletin board. Well,
Yeah,
in no
Carla
time,
started.
I'm sponsoring 2 buses to
Carla
the
was.
symphony. And we had 3 buses, I think, going to the little theater
right.
of Alexandria. And, you know, now they do the opera and the ballets and the plays and arena stage. And
Right.
there's just...
People see our buses everywhere. They'll call me and say, I got your number off a bus. I saw I saw it go in here. Do you folks go there? And I said, yes, we go everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
Well, and that whole idea of being resident-driven, a lot of activities. So anyway, listen, it's been great talking.
Happy 18th.
I hope our audience has enjoyed this today.
Hope they weren't bored with our reminiscing here.
Well, we were reminiscing, weren't we? I mean, you all more than I, but because I haven't been here as long. But really, it was
Great
a pleasure
memories.
to have you on the show
Thank you.
today.
Thank you. It's our pleasure too.
Okay.